Senator Bernie Sanders discussed tariffs on special report last night.
This is what I think. The idea to say, oh, we believe in unfettered free trade, no tariffs, and some Democrats are saying that, I think that's nonsense. The idea that you arbitrarily one day come up with tariffs on every country on earth for no particular reason, which is going to raise prices in this country, that's also absurd. Not only did I vote against NAFTA and permanent normal trade relations with China, I helped lead the effort against those. Those were disastrous trade agreements written by corporate America, designed to allow corporations to shut down in America, move to China, move to Mexico, and hire people there at starvation wages. Very bad policy. So I believe in selective tariffs to protect American workers. But the broad tariff proposals that Trump brought forth, that is not the way to proceed.
He says the same thing for 60 years, but never does anything about it. Here to discuss this and more is Arkansas Senator and Chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Tom Cotton. Senator, your thoughts about the deal that we think is with the UK and the talks that are happening on Saturday with China?
Well, Brian, if that's what the president announces this morning, I think it's a very welcome development. As he said from the beginning, we want to get better trade deals with our trading partners, especially close allies like Great Britain. Unfortunately, sometimes even our allies have taken advantage of American workers and businesses in the past. But ultimately, the worst actor in the world on trade is communist China. For decades, they've been supporting their own companies with illegitimate means like state subsidies and giveaways and dumping products overseas in our market, while also attacking our companies, stealing their intellectual property, forcing them into joint ventures with Chinese companies that can then take all their technology. So I'm glad to see that China finally is acknowledging some of the errors of its ways and asking for these talks. This is very harmful for the Chinese economy. They just had to cut interest rates to keep their economy afloat. So I hope that in the long run, what we can have is a total adjustment of the trade relationship we've had with communist China going back decades. That's what President Trump has been aiming for 10 years.
So as I welcomed you, Senator, President Trump just put this on Truth Social. We'll read it together. The agreement is with the United Kingdom is full and comprehensive, one that will cement the relationship between the United States and the UK for many years to come because of our long-time history and allegiance together. It is a great honor to have the United Kingdom, as our first announcement. Many other deals which are in serious stages of negotiation to follow. Speculation, U.S. cars and farm goods are removing British taxes on U.S. tech. It's also not clear whether the agreement had actually been finalized, and that has now changed. It looks like it has been finalized. So taxes on tech and farm goods, here we go, because the UK is separate from the EU, and the president wanted to reward that behavior. So that's good news. So let's talk about China. Here's what the Secretary of Treasury said he hopes for Saturday.
We are going to stick to our guns. But again, the U.S. and China have shared interest. They are the deficit country, though. They sell us about 4 times more than we sell them. So it would be felt harder in China. The world has been coming to the U.S. and China has been the missing piece. We don't want to decouple. What we want is fair trade.
We hear that they're hurting big time. They have the walkouts in their manufacturing plants. They have massive layoffs. People are upset about retirement benefits and Medicare and things to that nature. We don't know much about China in detail, but these are pretty substantial reports. Where do you think this goes? At Saturday, when these talks are done, Senator, where do you think we're going to be at?
Well, Secretary Bessent is right about the relationship we have with China. We also heard earlier Donald Trump talking about fentanyl that China has been sending through Mexico into our country. He's also noted that they're the biggest buyer of illicit oil from Iran. So I don't think we're going to solve those problems in one meeting. But you're right that, again, China is feeling the strain. They wanted this meeting. We've got a lot of grievances to redress with them. Right. It probably will take some time, but that's what President Trump has been trying to do for years now.
Senator, I want to get to Iran, but real quick, since you always seem to be ahead of the game, especially on China, do they know exactly where the precursors of fentanyl are coming from going to Mexico? And do you believe they could stop it? Because if they can stop it, 20% of the 145% tariffs are about fentanyl.
Yeah, of course, Brian. China is a techno-totalitarian police state. They know exactly what's going on inside their country. They could stop this if they wanted to.
All right. Here is so today, J.D. Vance yesterday at the Munich Security Conference was asked about what the state of the talks are with Iran as we try to avoid, I guess, taking out their nuclear program with military action. Watch.
There is a deal here that would reintegrate Iran into the global economy, that would be really good for the Iranian people, but would result in the complete cessation of any chance that they could get a nuclear weapon. That's option A. Option B is very bad. It's very bad for everybody, and it's not what we want, but it's better than option C, which is Iran getting a nuclear weapon. That is what is completely off the table.
Senator, your thoughts about his comments?
Well, Brian, President Trump has been very clear about this for 10 years since he first entered politics. Iran can never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. This is the 7th anniversary of one of the best and most important decisions President Trump made in his first term, which is to withdraw the United States from the disastrous Obama nuclear deal. Now, he's trying to get a better deal, the deal, as he said over the weekend, which is the total dismantlement of their nuclear program. There's no reason for Iran to enrich uranium. As Secretary Rubio has said, if they enrich to the lowest levels, they can enrich to the highest levels. So they have to totally dismantle their program. And President Trump has been very clear. He's willing to sit down. He's willing to get a good, strong deal, but he's also not going to let the Iranians tap him along as they continue to enrich uranium and get closer to a bomb. So everything is going to come to a head very soon, I predict.
Real quick, he says he hasn't decided if he's going to let them enrich uranium at all. It's got to be zero, right? If they're going to get uranium, it's got to come from outside the country. Don't you agree?
Yeah, and that's what over 24 countries around the world who have civilian nuclear power do as well. They don't enrich uranium. They bring it in from other countries because, as Secretary Rubio said last week, if you have any centrifuges, if you can enrich to low levels, then you can enrich to high levels for weapons. And
it's going to be a big Middle East announcement soon. Senator, I know you're going to be at the tip of the spear with all this. Thanks so much for joining us today.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.